It's time for IP in the News, as my charming co-host Elizabeth reminded me. And what is going on in IP in the News today?
Well, it's a great new patent for a product for getaway cars. Just kidding.
What's that? Is it like a James Bond thing with like a missile or something?
No, it's cars where you can customize the color after the car is already done.
Oh, so you must be talking about Toyota's new patented technology.
Right, so it comes out of the factory one color, and then you can treat it to get it to change color depending on the heat and the light and a bunch of different factors. And BMW has a same concept that they showed. And so it's really kind of interesting.
Well, it's not surprising because according to the article, and this was written by Stephen Williams and for Autoblog, he points out that color is one of the most important things that people think about when they're buying when they're buying a car, right? So it's this really kind of an interesting idea. The car ships from the factory in one color, and you can get it to the dealer, and then you can just pick whatever color you want, and they'll just tune it up right there for that color. So if you want hot pink, you can get hot pink.
Supposedly, I don't think they've actually done it yet.
Right. It's still in the
interesting concept.
Still in the works. So, Kenya, what do you think about this idea?
I think it's cool. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the car wraps that are out where you can basically go. It's almost like a sticker you put on your car, and you can change your. So it reminds me of that concept a little bit, except a little bit more automatic and probably less labor intensive of like coating the car and then having to pull it off.
Well, that's interesting because they mentioned that in the article, and you're kind of scratching your head as like, why put all this money into this technology if you can just wrap the car and get the color that you want. David?
It actually reminds me of those dolls. I didn't really have dolls growing up myself, but my sisters did. So there were those dolls where you bought it was blonde hair, but then when you put it in the water, it turned black. And then if you put it back in the water, it turned red. Nobody remembers those dolls?
I don't remember those dolls.
No, David, I didn't.
I
remember those
dolls.
With that.
What kind of dolls those were?
Where did you grow up? Brooklyn? Is that a Brooklyn thing?
So, Eugene, do you have any thoughts on this? It's the Brooklyn color turning doll.
Well, I guess people like individualism, right? I mean, people like their own choice all the time.
Yeah, so I guess this gives it to them, and it cuts down on shipping time. You don't have to wait. You can just buy your car and get the color you want. Del, what are your thoughts?
Well, I just feel that you get bored, and then you want to change. You just, that's a kind of easy and cool way of doing the change.
Yeah. What if, they use heat and light to correct the color? So what if you're out driving in the desert or something? Your car suddenly turns from blue to orange or something like that.
Supposedly not, but it hasn't been tested yet. So.
That's true. I can tell that I mentioned this thing to my son the other day, and he was, "Oh, Dad, that's so cool. Let's change our car. Why we don't change the color right now?" I said, "Well, it's hard, not that easy."
Yeah.
And I think the dolls David was talking about, it was Rainbow Bright.
Yes, it was like Rainbow Bright. And today they have LOLs where you put it in cold water and it turns one color, and you put it in hot water and it turns another. So I'm all for this technology.
So from a very early age, children are conditioned to want to change colors of things. Peter, Emma, what are your thoughts here?
I'm a bit old school on this. I just prefer the one color. Don't mess it up. Wouldn't that be a health hazard on the road? You just kind of flash in your face.
Distraction for sure.
Yeah.
But obviously you won't be that market, but
For sure.
But everybody else here thought it was a good idea.
I think we live in this era where it's all about Instagram, all about social media, and people like to show off. So I think there's definitely a huge market for this.
Yeah, I think you're right.